So good to be with you here on Maisha Prime News here on Maisha Television. This is the bulletin that brings you factual and trusted news from different parts of the country and beyond. We've got a lot lined up for you, from education happening at the business sector. Stay tuned as I seek to inform and also educate you on all these here on Maisha Prime News. Let's have a look at our top stories tonight.
Mwananchi wa Kenya ndiye atakuwa mbele, viongozi watakuwa nyuma. Sindio? It applies across, especially elected leaders. Hii mambo ya uheshimiwa mingi inafanya watu wasavu wananchi.
So if you have been doing things in a certain way, just know that part of this was to give them that chance that there must be now a proper shift in kind of our mindset and the way we do things.
Also tonight,
tunampongeza rais wetu na pia nikichukua fursa hii kumkumbusha zile ahadi ambazo alikuwa nazo kwa Wakenya kwa ujumla na hasa sisi wanawake. Tulipokuwa pale Kasarani tulisign women charter, na katika hiyo charter ilikuwa tumesema kwamba serikali ikiingia itaangalia 50-50 kwa wanawake.
Plus,
pata thuluthi mbili za kura zote katika uchaguzi wa kwanza ndiye ambaye atakuwa amechaguliwa kuwa spika, na iwapo hatakuwepo yeyote ambaye ampata thuluthi mbili ya kura, basi wa kwanza katika wingi wa kura na anayefuatia ndio watakaoenda katika uchaguzi wa pili.
welcome, my name is Rida Karim Chebet. The Azimio Moja One Kenya Coalition Party has agreed to nominate Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka for the Senate Speaker seat. The coalition, which held its parliamentary group meeting at Masai Lodge in Nairobi on Wednesday, also forwarded Kilifi Senator Stewart Madzayo's name for the Senate Deputy Speaker post in the National Assembly. Azimio picked former National Assembly Speaker Kenneth Marende for the Speaker post and endorsed Wiper Deputy Party leader Farah Mahalim for the National Assembly Deputy Speaker post. Kalonzo will be facing former Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi, who has been picked as Kenya Kwanza Alliance's choice, and Isaac Mwaura.
Mr. Speaker, the people of Kericho have given me firm instruction.
Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition has picked Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka for Senate Speaker seat and Kenneth Marende for National Assembly Speaker position respectively.
We have had our Azimio PG this morning running into afternoon, and we had the privilege of having our principals with us. And we have resolved as Azimio Coalition group that we have Mheshimiwa Marende, Kenneth Marende, as our candidate for the speakership of the National Assembly, to be deputized by Mheshimiwa Farah Mahalim. We have also resolved that we'll have His Excellency the former Vice President Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka as our speaker candidate for the Senate, and to be deputized by Mheshimiwa Senator Manzayo Stewart kutoka Kilifi. Na tumekubaliana kwamba sisi tutakuwa kule kufanya yale yanatakana na kuwa pamoja na wao. And we are asking that even those who are not from our coalition to also see the value and the quality of the members, of the individuals that we are fronting, and join us in giving them the support. They are useful for the assemblies, and they are also useful for this country.
Kalonzo had earlier pulled out of the National Assembly Speaker race during the party's National Executive Council NEC, saying it was humiliating for him. The two will face off with the Kenya Kwanza team, who have fronted Moses Wetangula for the National Assembly and former Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi for the Senate Speaker positions.
As we go to different and take different positions in your government, our unifying factor is that message that we gave to the people who voted in, all of us. And therefore, the fact that some of us are going to the Senate, some of us are going to the National Assembly, some of us are going to the executive, does not mean that we lose sight of what is unifying us, the agenda that we gave to the Republic. And anyone who can give you a job, anyone who can employ you, is your boss. So with humility, I'm asking the senators of the Kenya Kwanza coalition, I'm asking for your vote.
And again, I want to say thank you to Your Excellency, the President, and the Deputy President, and also all the principals of the Kenya Kwanza team who found it fit to approve my nomination for the election as Deputy Speaker, sorry, I'm getting confused, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. Thank you for that faith in me, and thank you so much. From the applause I've had, I see you approve, and I'm grateful. But that notwithstanding, I want to humbly request for your support and your vote tomorrow when the House convenes. I will be seeking your support and your vote, and I can confirm to you that...
Na mkutano ile tumekumbaliana saa hii, Senator ambaye Speaker wa Senate atakuwa Amason Kingi, na kura yangu nitaimpatia 100%. Na pia tumekumbaliana deputy atatoka Mount Kenya East ambaye ni Kadhuri Murungi. Kwa hiyo mambo yote iko nje, yote ni propaganda. Hata ikitangazwa na namna gani, mimi siwezi geuka mambo ya Kenya Kwanza.
The coalition has also picked Kilifi Senator-elect Stewart Madzayo for Senate Deputy Speaker, while Farah Maalim will deputize Marende in the National Assembly. 20 candidates have already collected nomination papers for the positions of the Senate Speaker and Deputy Speaker respectively. About 22 candidates have so far collected nomination papers in the National Assembly. Senate Clerk Jeremiah Nyagenye on Wednesday, September 7th, noted that all arrangements have been made for the elections. Under the Senate standing orders, the candidates are required to get 2 senators who support their bid for consideration. To be elected Speaker, one must marshal 2/3 or 233 of the 349 members of the National Assembly votes and 45 of the 67 senators to be elected Speaker.
None of us is available for sale. None of us is available for sale. We will do our duty. We will do our duty to the people who elected us. We will remain faithful to the people who gave us votes under the Azimio coalition. And in fact, we want to condemn this culture of purchasing leaders for purposes of political ends. If you were elected in Azimio, you are a fraud if you appear to be joining any other coalition, because that's not what the people sent you to do in Parliament. We are ready. We are not beggars. We are not going to run away from our responsibility. We fear nothing, and we are not available for sale. Thank you very much.
If none achieves the threshold, the one who receives a simple majority in the second round wins.
Atakayepata thuluthi mbili za kura zote katika uchaguzi wa kwanza ndiye ambaye atakuwa amechaguliwa kuwa spika, na iwapo hatakuwepo yeyote ambaye ampata thuluthi mbili ya kura, basi wa kwanza katika wingi wa kura na anayefuatia ndio watakaoenda katika uchaguzi wa pili, na ambaye atapata wingi wa kura ndiye ambaye nitamtangaza kuwa amechaguliwa na ambaye atakula kiapo cha wadhifa wa spika, na kutoka hapo ndiye spika huyo ndiye sasa atachukua jukumu lote la kuendesha shughuli za bunge.
For Maisha Prime, Maisha Television, I'm Rida Kering Chebet. Well, it seems like the politics has now shifted to the two houses, and Ford Kenya leader Moses Wetangula has formally resigned as Bungoma senator to vie for the National Assembly Speaker. The law requires one to resign from any public office they are holding before vying for Speaker's post. In an interview with the media on Wednesday, after submitting his papers at the Parliament, Wetangula said that he quit office a day after the gazettement of his election as Bungoma senator-elect. Wetangula said that the Parliament is critical in the management of the country's public affairs. He reiterated that the Kenya Kwanza administration will not be involved in the capture of state institutions. He promised that if he is elected as the Speaker, the 13th Parliament will work without any fear or favor.
The documents I have presented to the clerk includes my resignation as a senator, which resignation I did a day after the gazettement of my election. This distinguished lady, Gladys Boss Sholei, a lawyer distinguished in her own right, is going to be my able deputy speaker, God willing, and like I told you, tumejipanga, and our numbers are right.
As I have said before, we have made a commitment that to improve oversight over our government and to give greater opportunity for legislators like yourself to interrogate what we are doing as government. Our CSS, we are going to change the standing orders, hopefully, so that our CSS.
President-elect William Ruto on Wednesday, September 6th, revealed details of his phone conversation with his boss, President Uhuru Kenyatta. In a statement, Ruto noted that they discussed the concluded August 9th poll and the transition process as stipulated in the Constitution. Hours after the Supreme verdict, Ruto had revealed that he had not spoken to his boss for months, but will do so to discuss the transition process. On Tuesday, the Assumption of the Office of President Committee said that they are in the process of overseeing the transition of government and planning the swearing-in of President-elect William Ruto on September 13th. And away from that, preparations are in top gear at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, ahead of the swearing-in ceremony of President-elect William Ruto on Tuesday, September 13th, with the Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces, General Robert Kibochi, in the Transition Committee. Officers from the Kenya Air Force, Army and Navy have begun rehearsals at the stadium. The military conducted a mock exercise of how Kibochi will accompany President Uhuru Kenyatta to the podium to hand over the sword of honor to his successor. Let's have a look.
Anakabidhiwa hivi sasa nakala ya katiba ya Kenya. Makofi kwake.
Today we've done a preliminary visit of the stadium where the inauguration function will be held for the 5th President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, His Excellency. We are here with teams from the National Government Office of the President, from the judiciary, from the military and others. And our main concern and our main issue was to make sure that the standards that are being set up here today are of international quality. We want this event to be flawless. We want this event to send the right message to Kenyans that we are ready to work. And so far, we've walked around with the senior officials here, and we are very happy with what we've seen. We are a team from the former Deputy President's office, and I've been working with him, and so far so good. We have made a few changes to ensure that there's proper flow of traffic and proper flow of the VIPs that will be coming here. So, and we've urged them to continue and finish the work as quickly as possible. We've made a few changes here and there to make it easier for Wananchi. What we want to tell Kenyans is that the transition is real and it is happening. And Kenyans should brace for themselves for a government that will deliver to the people. And that's what we want to do. Have this inauguration, have a good time, but then we get back to work. We don't want to waste a lot of time. We have impressed upon the management of the stadium that everybody coming here is a VIP. Every person who will come to this stadium is a VIP. So the toilets that they use, the seats they sit on, the places they go will need to be VIP standards. We don't want what we call madogodanyo. We don't want things that look like the stadium has never spent a lot of money to be developed. We want people to come and feel that this is their country and things are done well. We will also be discussing parking and entrances, and we'll make sure that people going through the right entrances, proper security is undertaken, people have proper seats where they'll be able to sit to enjoy the activity. So we want to make it easier for everybody to be able to enjoy the activity and for our guests to be able to come.
President-elect William Kipchirchir Samoei Ruto appears to have finally conquered the curse of Kenya's deputy presidents that seem to have antagonized his predecessors to move a step closer to becoming the next head of state. Ruto will go down in Kenya's history as the first deputy president to clinch presidency in his first trial. He has been serving as the deputy president under President Uhuru Kenyatta since 2013 after supporting him in 2 elections. Former president, the late Daniel Moi, also rose from vice president to becoming Kenya's second president, but only after death of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, Kenya's first president in 1978. Mushebi Jr. gives us a glimpse of how Kenya's deputy presidents were affected by these jinx.
At the peak of 2017 presidential elections, Deputy President William Ruto, then under the Jubilee Party, headed by President Uhuru Kenyatta, described the opposition coalition NASA as clueless, rudderless, leaderless, and disorganized. 5 years later, nothing better describes the trajectory of his last term as deputy president, as succession politics took center stage unbridled.
Kuna wakati wa kazi na kuna wakati wa siasa. Sasa tunaingia kipindi ya siasa. Kila mtu ako na uhuru sasa.
In the last term of Jubilee government in 2022, it is a script typical of founding President Mzee Jomo Kenyatta's last years in office. What about the allegations by President Uhuru Kenyatta that his deputy Ruto had abandoned his duties, instead began early campaigns to succeed him, wield power, and pursue his own political interests, leading to a massive fallout? First President of Kenya Mzee Jomo Kenyatta took power after independence in 1963. In 1979, Daniel Moi became president after the death of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. In December 2002, Mwai Kibaki became the third president after Moi, and in April 2013, Uhuru Kenyatta, the son of Jomo Kenyatta, became the fourth president of Kenya. The Kenyattas have gone into books of history when both a father and a son became presidents 34 years apart. In the two periods, the senior and junior Kenyattas are deputized by Daniel Moi and William Ruto, respectively. The title vice president has since been replaced with deputy president. Ruto is Moi's political prodigal son. In presidential succession, the deputy president is always the focal person because he is a heartbeat away from presidency. Holders of the office are often opposed and humiliated. Kenyan history is replete with scenes of the humiliation of the deputy president since Oginga Odinga's time. Moi, Mwai Kibaki, Dr. Josephat Karanja, and Professor George Saitoti were no different, nor is Ruto. In fact, many have argued that the position is a cursed one. Until recently, Uhuru had not directly opposed his deputy's political ambitions. He tacitly did so in his public speeches, body language, and through his project Stop Ruto 2022. A deja vu of Moi's tribulations with the status elites around Jomo Kenyatta, who could not fathom how a person like Moi, without pedigree and not from the right ethnicity, could succeed Mzee. The open resistance against Ruto mirrors the very same beaten path that Moi had to endure before eventual ascension to power after Mzee's demise.
Raila Amolo Odinga,
na yeye tutatembea na yeye bega kwa bega. Mimi si project yake, hata yeye si project yangu. Tuko pamoja, tunatembea sambamba.
First term of Uhuru's regime saw Ruto at the center of government, perhaps because it was a coalition government of URP and TNA, and because Uhuru needed him for his re-election. Uhuru once handed over the instruments of power to Ruto when he headed to The Hague to attend the case against him before the International Criminal Court. The Building Bridges initiative was birthed by the 2017 handshake of Uhuru and opposition leader Raila Odinga to save a country which was falling apart after the latter swore himself in as the people's president following botched presidential election. It has achieved the purpose of taming Raila and allowing Uhuru to finish his term with less turbulence. The unclenching of fists by the two leaders and the BBI process ostensibly excluded Ruto. Apart from Jaramogi Odinga, who took on his tormentors head-on from January 1965 to April 1966 when he threw in the towel, no other vice president has staged a formidable fight to save his place as Dr. Ruto has done.
I have gone through many difficult situations, but because of God, we are here today to celebrate that today the people of Kenya have made a choice, and that choice has been confirmed by our judiciary.
It is not the first time that a vice or deputy president has found himself in a similar predicament due to succession wars. Moi's vice president Mwai Kibaki found himself restricted to his native Nyeri district, and few politicians would dare invite him to their districts. The fear among Moi's inner circle was that Mr. Kibaki was capable of building a national image and perhaps become a threat to Moi. But Kibaki faced the humiliation he went through silently and hardly raised his voice until he found out that his position as a politician was under threat during the 1988 Q voting saga. The president, in an apparent reference to William Ruto, said he will have no problem supporting him, but only in future if he reforms.
How will you respond to a contested election outcome?
This election, to the best of our knowledge and understanding, is over. We are a democratic country. We have built robust institutions that can undertake the resolution of any issue.
To the best of all Kenyans' knowledge, the curse of deputy presidency is broken. Dr. William Ruto was declared president-elect and the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya after beating Raila Odinga